Eskom will implement stage 2 load shedding from 4 p.m. till midnight today and tomorrow. That's due to a shortage of generation capacity. The power utility says there's been delays in the return of units at Arnot, Koeberg and Kusile power stations. Let's help you make sense of this current cycle of load shedding. We're joined by Roger Lilley. He's an energy expert. Roger, thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon. So not much of a surprise in spite of those swathes of measures that have been announced. It's only expected to kick in, I guess, those measures to address the electricity crisis months, maybe years from now.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to a show this afternoon. So, yes, that's right. The IPP business, the independent power producers, who will provide additional power in terms of these grid windows that are already in existence and the plans that the President recently announced, will take a couple of years before we see them really coming to fruition. The problem, as Eskom has been saying for some time, is that there's a shortfall of some 4,000 to 6,000 megawatts of capacity. And until we can provide that, load shedding, unfortunately, is going to be with us for a while.
How much electricity do we need as a country for us to get to a level where we feel like we won't need load shedding anymore? Maybe in your example, citing, let's say, if you power up Joburg, for instance, or we need enough electricity that would power up Lesotho or something, just to help us make sense of that.
Okay, yes. So we need enough power to generate another large city to be added to the existing infrastructure. So imagine another big city like Johannesburg or Cape Town coming, with the power that a big city like that would consume. If that additional capacity was available immediately, of course, then load shedding would be something we would not experience. But we need to understand that it's going to take a while for that to come on board. And at the same time, the equipment that Eskom has is proving more and more unreliable. So even the 32, about, the peak demand sits at around 32,000 megawatts, and Eskom is capable of providing between 24 and 28,000 megawatts as we stand. But of course, the equipment keeps failing. It goes out of service for maintenance and it's late in coming back, often for very valid reasons. Nonetheless, it's out of service, and so we don't have the power we need. And until we get the independent power producers on stream, which are going to provide us brand new equipment, so hence much more reliable equipment. So, but things are looking up. We've got 5,000 megawatts now coming on stream. We have 2,000 megawatts additional to that, which will come up very soon, maybe late this year or early next year. And then in 2024, we'll have another 5,200. So if we add that all up, we're talking about over 12,000 megawatts of extra power, which is two big cities. And so load shedding is then going to be something of the past. So we're looking probably at 2 years, maybe 2.5 years before load shedding will be something that we don't have to worry about anymore.
The conspiracy theorist in me can't help but notice a trend, especially on colder days. That's when we get load shedded the most. Is there a case to be made about that?
Well, as demand goes up and the equipment can't cope, naturally equipment starts failing. So this is the problem. On cold days, more people turn on heaters or electric blankets. Their geysers run for longer because the water coming into the geyser is colder. Takes longer to heat up to the 70 degrees of the setting, and so on. Lights come on earlier during winter because the sun sets earlier. So the peak period is extended to that time as well. So yes, it's normal. When winter comes, demand for electricity increases. The big concern is if the economy is to grow and more factories are to be running and employing people, which is what we desperately need, they have to be powered. So the option is, do we now encourage factories to set up their own generation equipment and stay away from Eskom from day one? Or what do we do? Because many factories, the big Ford factory, for example, in Pretoria, is something like 30 or 40% self-sufficient now in terms of electricity. simply because it has invested in its own generating capacity. So if other factories were to do the same thing, that would take the strain off Eskom, but at the same time it would also reduce Eskom's financial income, which in turn would then prevent Eskom from doing the maintenance it needs to do because it won't have the money to do it. So it's really a very difficult situation.
Roger Lilley is an energy expert. Thank you very much for availing yourself this afternoon.